Yesterday, there was a drill you guys were doing back here in the end zone, and Coach Cashdollar was pretty adamant that you guys don't back up. What's the important significance of that drill?
I mean, we don't have a 6'4" quarterback, so we got to stay aggressive so he can see over us. I mean, that's pretty much the importance of that. The other thing is we got to be aggressive. We run a fast offense, so it's like you said on the video, we're not 330 pounds, but that's fine. We just be aggressive and stay on the line.
You mentioned that you guys are not necessarily the biggest offensive line in the country. What do you guys have to do technique-wise to try to make up for that?
I mean, obviously all the stuff, play with great pad level, all that stuff, but the other thing is we have an advantage of running a fast offense, so D-lines get more tired, stuff like that. That's why we have to be I guess, smaller O-line and just be in better shape overall, just because. But that's definitely part of it for sure.
And on a day like this, you mentioned how much better condition that you felt coming into this season. On a day like this, when the heat really ratchets up high, and you mentioned they don't have shade over here over the football field, how much does that come into play? What you've done in the summer to make sure that you're ready for a day like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's the reason we do it. It's the reason we work out in the summer. It's the reason we do 7-on-7 in 100-degree heat, all that kind of stuff. We do everything for a reason, for sure. And we also just have to dig deep and be mentally tough and figure out a way to grit it out, and it's mentality, really.
Great job.
You guys have 3 all MIAA players gone from this unit off of last year's team. How important is it for the next group of you guys to step up and make sure that you're filling the roles that they had? Because they had a big role in the success that you guys had offensively last year.
Well, it's not just important, it's necessary because it's next up. We've spent all offseason trying to get guys ready, and I think they did a great job this offseason as well.
You guys play so fast on offense. To an offensive lineman, what does speed mean to you guys in order to be able to be ready to do what you need to do, because you know that Gleason's going to be getting up there and be calling for the snap?
Speed is everything for us. After first down, the D-line's going to get tired, and that's our advantage. We work on it every practice. We dictate our will on every D-line that we play.
And Coach Cash isn't afraid to give you guys his opinion when he's out there coaching. What's it like to be coached by Coach Cashdollar?
Coach Cash is a great coach, and he works harder than anybody I know. And he's just, he just loves the game so much, and it's like, it really rubs off on everybody else so well. And I think it's just contagious to have a coach like that, and it just makes everybody better.
All you guys are important on the offensive line, but obviously when you're the center, there's a couple other additional duties, responsibilities that you have to take care of. What's it mean to you to be the center for an offense like this that has such high expectations for this season?
You have to push the pace. It's the first thing, but the way I see it is there's not one special position out there, because you got to work as 5 together. You can't work 4 out of 5. It's still ain't going to get you nowhere. So main thing for the center is just pushing the pace. You communicate. You know what's happening, and then stay in two steps in front of everybody and keep the pace going.
What's your role in the communication process? Because, when you guys are playing, if you guys have just made a big play, this place is going to be loud, and communication is not always the easiest. When you guys are moving up, if you get a big 30, 40-yard play, you want to get the next play snapped as quickly as possible. Signs are coming in. Quarterback's getting the signs, you need to get calls out. What's your role in making that whole communication process happen?
It's really not as much as you think, but because the reason is that you got people next to you, you got the other 4 calling out what you need to hear. So when it comes to that, you got to focus in the moment. Is the biggest thing. Don't get too hyped up over a big play or a bad play. You just next play mentality. Focus. Do what you got to do. Call the front out. Know the front. Know what you're doing, and just do your 111.
Well, one thing that Coach Cash said yesterday when you guys were down here in the end zone is, you may not know, I know all you guys know very well who BG is, but he said you may not be BG, pretend like it's your grandma, your girlfriend, whoever back there, and you can't let them get hurt. What responsibility do you guys have as a unit to make sure that BG stays off the turf?
Man, that's everything for us. I mean, that's why you play this position. We've all been around BG, most of us, for 3 or 4 years. He's a great guy, great person. It goes for all the quarterbacks though too, and it starts in practice. I mean, it starts in winter, right after the season. But it's a big thing for us. I mean, you don't want to see your quarterback take a big hit. It's just you stand up and you protect him, you play for him, play your guts out for him, for the team.
As a center, what's the one thing you have to do every play?
Pace and snap. It starts with snap, of course. Face, dude.
Snap, gotta get the ball back here.
What would you say the camaraderie is like among the guys on the offensive line?
I love this college. I love this university. OOP, this is something that Coach Cash taught us. It means O-line pride. And it's basically like we're a family. You know what I mean? Like we have love for every position and everything, but, you know, we're like the main core, the main center, and we have each other's backs like no matter what. I know you saw yesterday we kind of got into a little scuffle or whatever, you know what I mean? And it's all love with everyone, but we just have each other's backs. We ride for each other. We die for each other.
I've heard so many people talk about the culture, and it's so overused and so cliche, but you know, you get the sense of coming around practice here and you really feel it because, you know, guys don't transfer out, guys want to be. What do you think, what is it about Emporia State specifically in your mind that makes it more about the we than the me?
I'm not sure. My high school was definitely not like this. And I think it just has to do a lot with the leadership, starting with Coach Cash, of course, but also starting with the older guys. Just making sure that it is like not a cliquey or like, you know, seniority type thing, but where we all show love to each other. We all, you know, try to go sit with different people at lunch, try to talk to people in the training room, just show love. I'm honestly not sure, but this place is special. That's for sure.
Coach Higgins said this week is all about installation in terms of the offense and what you guys are trying to get done. How would you say that installation process is going?
I think it's going well. I think that, you know, you have to judge, every year is different with every team, and you have to judge where you're at each individual practice. Some days we do large installs where it's a lot of different concepts, passing game, protections, running game. And then maybe if we come out here and we don't execute the way that we want to, maybe the next day you kind of pull back a little bit and give the guys another opportunity to do better. And it's that fine line of are you teaching well enough as a coach? Are we repping it enough versus they need more reps? So this week is big, you know, kind of getting through the first 6 practices are our biggest installs, biggest concepts. And then after that, it's kind of fine-tuning things based on our tempo and things like that.
In terms of the guys, I'm sure there's still competition to see who's going to be that final 5, but in terms of the guys that are in the mix for that number 1 spot right now, how do you think that unit is coming together on the O-line?
I think the biggest thing I'm proud of this group is they're working extremely hard. And I have challenged them because of, you know, where we're at. And, you know, they need reps. They need competition. They need to be gritty and tough and hardworking and take coaching, and they've just been phenomenal. You know, days like today, as an O-lineman, as someone who, you know, forget the coach side of it, I played offensive line. These are the tough days, you know, where your legs are heavy. You're gonna be sore until you're eating Thanksgiving dinner as an O-lineman. You know, you're gonna be tired. It's hot, and you just got to keep moving your feet and keep pushing through it. Knowing that that's what's best for the team. You know, and the one thing that I'll say complimentary for the offensive line is we're able to put more groups out there during practice to get more reps and be able to functionally run our offense and guys that know what they're doing. So you just got to keep building that experience and telling guys that maybe necessarily haven't played, like, this is what it's going to be like and this is the expectation.
Well, and the other thing you mentioned too in terms of pushing forward, you guys don't exactly run the type of offense that would be good for somebody who's not in shape. You guys are always moving down the field, you're making big plays, and you're trying to get that next ball snap as quickly as possible. How do you think that this group has done in terms of being where you want them to be almost after the first week, in terms of the speed at which you want the plays to be coming off the sideline, relayed into BG, and snapped?
We're not there yet, you know, and I think a big part of that is just, it's two sides of it. With our offense and the offensive line, there's the mental side of it where you have to process the play and what you're doing fast, right? Understanding what the keyword that we're telling you, seeing what your assignment is in front of you, processing that and getting the ball snapped and doing that over and over. Along with that, you have to block people, you know, and stay in front and move people off the line of scrimmage and be physical and not let everything overwhelm you. So I think our guys understand what we're trying to get after offensively, what we need to do to be good this year. It's just going to continue to be fine-tuning. As an offensive line coach, it's always developmental. I mean, everybody in the room has an opportunity to continue to get better freshmen don't play typically in college football regardless of level, and you just got to keep building depth because you don't know how things will go for the season.
I get the feeling it's pretty hard to play offensive line for you if you're not tough.
It is very tough. Yeah, I love coaching the offensive line. I love my group. You know, I think they do have a little something to them. You know, they have a little something to them. We're starting to see it. You build that confidence, and that confidence comes through success. You know, you can't go out there and just kind of go through the motions and not push yourself and build real confidence. And especially in our league, you're going to go out there and you're going to have to believe in yourself. And that's built through confidence. You have to believe in the 5 guys next to you. You have to believe in me and Coach Higgins, and that just takes time. And they're doing a great job.
One last question. Why do football coaches, when it's 95 degrees, wear hoodies and sweatshirts?
That's a good question. I don't have time to work out anymore. That's what it is, to be honest. I don't have time to, you know, during fall camp, I like to walk and do things like that, and you just don't have time during this time of year.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep. Okay.
Offensive line, for the style of offense that you want to run, just talk me through the importance of the offensive line and what you're looking for out of these guys to make sure that you're getting the tempo that you want to get to give you guys that Hornet edge.
Yeah, well, I think Coach Cash does a great job of getting those guys to understand our no-huddle mechanics. And it's tough as an offensive lineman, you know, because a lot of times if you're running just a base offense that huddles up and you have an opportunity to make some calls, get some adjustments. And there are times we have that opportunity if we double cadence some things, but at the other times, you know, we gotta keep it simple for them, and so they can play, and they can play fast, and they can play physical. So to me, that is you know, the most important thing. And again, and it's just not only for the offensive line, but just everybody kind of understanding. We're on our guys a lot about just the no-huddle mechanics.
You've got 3 pretty great ones gone. How do you think that this bunch is coming together to try to replace those and then hopefully make their own mark on the program this year?
I think they're doing a great job. I mean, I know there's room for improvement. Those 3 guys we lost last year, those guys are hard to replace. But I feel really good about, we got some really young guys, very talented youth players on the offensive line, and the future's definitely bright. The thing is, they just, you know, they're going to have to grow up quickly. And we're at day 5 today, so this is when that time hits where you got to really push through. And if you're a young offensive lineman and you're playing in our offense, and when I say young, these are guys that haven't really been in our system. You know, Jalen Robinson and Travion Mitchell, those are 2 guys that come to mind where they're still in the process of understanding how we want to play.
You mentioned push through today. Very interesting how sometimes the weather just kind of works out. First day of full pads, hottest day of training camp. You're talking about pushing through. You talked about mental toughness yesterday, or concentration yesterday. You mentioned it again to your team at the end of practice, and how, you know, maybe you'd even be out here even if you had an indoor facility.
Oh, definitely.
What do you need? What do the guys need to get out of this? Because they're going to be back out in it, and I don't think a cool wave's coming in for tomorrow's practice.
Well, we want to be able to push through it. At the same time, you know, we want to make sure that we're protecting our guys too, and I understand that. There's a fine line. You know, we got to make sure. We also talk to our guys about making sure that they're taking care of their bodies right now. This is, you know, we are in full training camp mode. School hadn't started. We got to make sure we're getting plenty of fluids in our body, all those things, and then we got to push through. This is, again, offensively we play with tempo, and defensively we want to be, you know, mentally and physically tough. That's part of our edge. Today was one of those days that tested our edge and tested everybody. I mean, I had to go back to my days of playing for Coach Kramer and think about, I had to coach today. I mean, I couldn't sit back and worry about how hot it was. And we got to coach them the same, just like we did on the second day. And that's the thing. We're in the middle of install schedule, so there's a lot of things going on. As soon as we turn around and eat lunch, the staff's back watching film. And then after we watch film, we got to look at what we're doing for practice tomorrow. I mean, it is a every day, you know, routine. And if you don't watch it as a coach, you can wear yourself down. Where if you slip a little bit as a coach, you're not doing what you need to be doing to make sure that we're doing a good job of coaching these guys up. So it's everybody gets affected by it.
Fun time of year though.
Fun time of year, and this is what it's about. I mean, it really is. Right, kind of in the thick of things, in the middle of things. You know, we're full pads now, and tomorrow will be our 6th day, and then guess what? The NCAA, every 7th day they get a day off, so they're going to be okay.
So I asked Cashdollar this. Why is it some football coaches, when it's 95 degrees, feel like they have to wear sweatshirts?
I don't know. You notice this one doesn't. Okay? So, I mean, I try to be as mentally tough, but I am not. I think my guys understand. They'd be really worried about me if I did, just because half the time I don't drink enough water, you know. So I'm not doing that. I can't. Somebody's gonna have to. I'll have some heat cramps.
All right, thank you.
You're
You
good.
bet. All right, fellas.
Appreciate it. Thank you.